Hello all. Today we are looking at lesson 3, which is the skeleton, and this is still part of the structure and function of body systems unit. So for the objectives today, hopefully by the end of the lesson and the workbook, we should be able to describe the structure of the skeleton, and we should be able to describe the functions of the skeletal system. So in order to have a look at the skeleton, let's have a closer look at bones first, okay? As you all know by now that most of you have hard structures inside of your bodies called your bones. They stop you from being shapeless and allow you to stand up and move. Some bones are long and narrow, such as those in your legs, and some bones are shorter, such as those in your feet, or the ones in your shoulder, like the scapula, which are flat. Some bones are small, you wouldn't even be aware of them, like the ones, for example, in your ears that are only about 3 millimeters wide, or 3 millimeters long, sorry. Each bone is adapted to suit its function. For example, the foot contains many small bones to allow flexibility, and it's really important to maintain a balanced diet and good exercise in order to keep your bones healthy. If you look at the image on this slide, you can see an image of an x-ray, and that is of a bone in the arm above the elbow that has broken. So yes, really important to try and maintain healthy bones. Let's have a look at the structure of the bone. If you have a look at the image to your right, you can see that bone is a living tissue with a blood supply. It is growing and changing all of the time and can repair itself when damaged. Looking at the image, you can see that the outside of the bone is smooth and hard to provide support. Inside this hard outer layer lies a spongy, porous material, and inside of that layer, inside some of your bones, is bone marrow. This makes your bones lighter than if they were completely solid. So for example, if we think about the long bones in the leg, they are quite long. If they were solid, they would be really quite heavy. Now try and imagine trying to walk around with these very heavy bones inside your legs. So bone marrow is predominantly found in the legs of the bone. Calcium and other materials, around about 70%, make the bone strong, but at the same time slightly flexible, which is why we can end up breaking them if they're bent into awkward positions. So now we come to the structure of the skeleton. As you can see from the image on the left-hand side on this slide, if we didn't have a skeleton, we would be floppy like a jellyfish. And without a skeleton, we would not be able to sit, stand, or hold ourselves upright. Together, all of the bones in your body make up your skeleton. They are joined together to form a framework, and the average adult skeleton consists of about 206 bones. There are 4 main functions of the skeleton, and these are to help the body to move. Okay, so we have many joints inside our skeleton that allow us to move. If you think about it, you've got one in your elbow and you've got a joint at the knee which allows you to bend both the elbow and the knee. The skeleton is used to support our body, and it's there to protect vital organs. So if we think about the bones of the ribs, they are curved, which form a cavity inside of our rib cage where the lungs and the heart are positioned, and that acts as a protection for these vital organs. And finally, bones help us to make blood cells, and the blood cells are made inside the marrow of the longer bones, and that would be the red blood cells and the white blood cells. So as you can see from the image on the right, we have just a skeleton showing you how movement occurs within the skeleton. On the right hand side, we have a diagram of the main bones of the human skeleton. And if you have a look, for those of you that are interested in going on to do physiology or studying human science later on in life, feel free to have a pause of this video and try and remember as many of these as you can, the names of the bones. And if you start from the top, we do have some scientific names. The skull, the part that covers and protects your brain, is called the cranium. We have the clavicle, which is the collarbone that extends from the shoulder across to your rib cage. We have the humerus, which is the long bone of the arm, and below that on the arm we have the radius and the ulna. Then we have the pelvis, which are wider, flatter bones similar to your shoulder blades. These help to protect your organs inside. We have the femur of the long bone in your legs, the ankle bones, the tibia and the fibula, which are shorter bones of the leg, and then we move on to the wrist bones and the ribs. They are long and curved. They are designed in that way to create a cavity within inside your upper body to protect your lungs and your heart. And then we have the vertebrae, which is the backbone. The long, white-looking, pointy bone at the front that the ribs are attached to is called the sternum, and this helps to keep bones of the ribs in place. So let's go into a little bit more detail now about the functions of the skeleton. Support. The skeleton provides support to the body and holds your internal organs in place. Your bones create a framework for muscles and organs to connect to, and the vertebral column, the backbone, holds the body upright. In regards to protection, the bones are hard and strong to protect the vital organs from being damaged. As we've mentioned in the previous slide, the cranium, your skull bone, protects your brain, and the rib cage protects your heart and lungs, and your backbone protects your spinal cord. In order for movement to occur, your muscles are attached to the bones. If a muscle pulls on a bone, it will cause the bone to move. The skeleton moves at joints such as your knees and your elbows. This movement of joints allows your body to move more easily. And then finally, we have a quick look at making the blood cells. As mentioned previously, some bones inside your body, such as the long ones in your arms and your legs, are not solid. In the middle of these bones is a soft tissue called bone marrow. The bone marrow produces red and white blood cells. Red blood cells are needed to carry oxygen around the body, and white blood cells are used to protect against infection. And we have now come to the end of this PowerPoint. I hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing some more. Take care. Bye-bye.